This is Epic Book Recaps, a podcast that offers complimentary audio summaries of influential nonfiction books, making learning a smarter experience. Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estés, PhD. Preserve the essence of the primitive female. As we progress in civilization, we continue to encroach upon the wilderness, inevitably resulting in the decay of an essential part of our psyche. For millennia, societal rules and restrictions have subdued the wild elements inherent in the human psyche, especially women. The history of European culture has consistently sought to tame and control women, leading to their suppression in the name of civilization. Imagine young, healthy women as free wolves, robust, playful, instinctively driven, compassionate, and fiercely dedicated to their kin. And akin to wolves, women begin to wilt under the constraints imposed by external forces. However, the echo of the wilderness continues to resonate deep within the female psyche, often stirring a faint sense of longing even when it is not consciously acknowledged. The presence of the wild woman is felt when mothers birth and nurse their offspring. Her spirit manifests in the daring dreams of love-struck girls and in the sorrowful wails of a grieving widow mourning the loss of her partner. The wild woman fuels an artist's fervor to produce masterpieces. She resonates with the rhythms and melodies carried in the songs sung by women and infuses their dance movements with strength. Experiencing the wild allows you to reconnect with your inherent roots, instincts, and the freedom that comes with them. Seek your innate wildish nature through dreams, symbols, legends, and rituals. Fragments of this nature persist in fairy tales, awaiting revelation. Consider these fairy tales as healing potions for the feminine soul. By dissecting each narrative and learning from them, you will inch closer to the integrity and unity of the wild woman, reclaiming the aspects of your feminine nature that have been yours since the beginning. In the words of Clarissa Pinkola Estés, if a story is a seed, then we are its soil. Sounds enticing. Prepare yourself to delve into 5 captivating myths. The first one will seize your interest and pull you into this magical realm. Bluebeard, the inevitability of a tyrant's nature. The narrative of Bluebeard begins by introducing the main character. His beard, colored as deep blue as a shadow of a hole at night, marks him apart. He is known as a mediocre magician with a notorious reputation for pursuing women. On one occasion, he invites 3 sisters into the woods. After a day filled with fantastic experiences, the sisters start reconsidering their initial impression of him. Despite this, the older 2 remain suspicious, while the youngest becomes completely enraptured and eventually agrees to be his wife. Following their marriage, Bluebeard embarks on a journey, entrusting his wife with complete access to his household and all the keys except for one, the one that unlocks the concealed door. While he is away, the wife's sisters come to visit. Their curiosity leads them to the horrifying discovery behind the forbidden door, the skeletons of Bluebeard's ex-wives and copious amounts of blood. Even though the youngest sister attempts to conceal their discovery, Bluebeard uncovers her betrayal and threatens to end her life. Fortunately, her brothers arrive in the nick of time and put an end to the abuser, saving her life. What insights does this story offer us? Firstly, it highlights the importance of cultivating a relationship with the wildish nature for women's development. Women must navigate their path into the darkness cautiously, ensuring they escape capture or harm. Secondly, it emphasizes the significance of intuition. Despite Bluebeard's pretense, the older sister's mistrust starkly contrasts with the younger sister's naivety. The younger sister's decision to open the forbidden door, following her inner voice, empowers her, making her wiser and stronger. The tale of Bluebeard illuminates the awakening of a psychic center, aiding us in recognizing predators and reminding us of their existence. Many women face similar situations, marrying monstrous beings due to naivety or misguided choices. While they attempt to transform their bluebeards with love and tenderness, they overlook the importance of the key to the room containing the skeletons. Danger can often masquerade as intriguing and appealing, but it is crucial to listen to your instincts and respond to wake-up calls to ensure your safety. Vasilisa the Wise, healthy aggression as a means of self-defense. The next fairy tale, Vasilisa, also known as Vasilisa the Wise, originates from Slavic folklore and begins with the mysterious words, "Once there was, and once there was not." As the tale goes on, Vasilisa's mother, on her deathbed, decides to leave a gift for her dear daughter, a doll that is meant to protect her in any circumstance. Grieving her mother's death, Vasilisa's father meets a widow with 2 daughters and decides to remarry. His new wife takes an instant dislike to Vasilisa and treats her horrendously. Eventually, she decides to send her stepdaughter to old Baba Yaga to ask for fire, hoping it would get rid of her. Armed with her mother's doll, Vasilisa sets off on her journey. Despite her naivety, she asks Yaga for help. The witch agrees, but only if Vasilisa completes a series of seemingly impossible tasks. With the aid of her doll, Vasilisa overcomes all challenges and learns how to interact with Yaga. In the end, the old witch gives her a skull with fire, and Vasilisa returns home safely. Upon her return, the skull brings about the death of her stepmother and sisters. This fairy tale demonstrates the power of a mother's blessing, the ability to pass on her intuition to her daughter. The bond between mothers and daughters is potent, with the exchange of experiences forming an integral part of growing up. Mothers and daughters teach one another about instincts such as sensing, seeing, and understanding. However, a girl can only develop her instincts and awareness about life when she no longer has her overprotective mother to guide her. During this period of self-discovery and self-reliance, she realizes that being overly kind or accommodating may not always work in her favor. Instead, she learns the importance of establishing a healthy relationship with her darker side. The process of maturing involves letting go of the image of the ideal mother. In the tale, Baba Yaga represents a wild woman. She is wise, strong, and fearsome. By encountering a wild goddess, Vasilisa learns to face the unfamiliar without faltering. She must respect her power and learn from Baba Yaga's wisdom. Yaga imparts lessons through chores, and Vasilisa picks up some of the witch's traits during this time. It is interesting to note that in Slavic folklore, Baba Yaga is a supernatural being who resides in a spinning forest hut on birds' legs. The old witch is infamous for kidnapping, cooking, and devouring her victims, with children often being her preferred prey. The Ugly Duckling. Embrace those who appreciate your beauty. The Ugly Duckling, penned by Hans Christian Andersen, inspires outsiders to allow themselves time to discover their true selves. The story commences by the river, where a mother duck watches over her eggs as they begin to hatch and her new ducklings come to life. However, one egg takes much longer to hatch. When it finally does, the mother duck is taken aback by the little creature's appearance, labeling him as ugly. The other animals join in, bullying the little duckling while his mother tries to stand up for him. However, she too wishes for him to disappear, and so the duckling flees. He encounters various people and animals on his journey, all of whom react similarly. Amidst all this, he finds solace in observing the swans on the river and admiring their beauty. Eventually, he musters the courage to approach them, and upon their request to look at his reflection, he discovers that he is one of them. His egg had accidentally rolled into the duck family's nest, but he was always a magnificent swan. It just took him a while to realize his true identity. We often seek love from those incapable of reciprocating it, instead of turning to those who willingly choose us. The plot of this story is universal. The little duckling symbolizes the wild nature under the strain of maltreatment. The duckling was never really ugly, he just looked different. Similarly, We sometimes find ourselves amidst people who fail to recognize and appreciate our beauty, leading us to question our worth and feel insignificant. However, the issue lies not with us, but with the inappropriate environment we find ourselves in. To support only one kind of beauty is to be somewhat unobservant of nature. Clarissa Pinkola Estés. Being rejected by your family leaves a deep emotional scar that could potentially evolve into a lasting psychological complex. Children struggling with difficult mother-child relationships may carry echoes of their mother's voices well into adulthood. This voice continuously reinforces the false notion that you are not good enough. Typically, society and families exert pressure on girls to conform to certain expectations, such as expecting them to behave in a perfect way. But it is far more important to explore your unique features than to meet other standards. When you accept your beauty, you no longer seek validation from others. It allows you the sweet freedom of being your authentic self. The little match girl. Treasure and cultivate your gift. Creativity is found in simplicity. It is an overwhelming love for something, a person, a word, an image, or a place. It is such an overpowering feeling that you feel compelled to follow the current and commence creating. A woman's creativity is like an inner river, filling her soul with love. However, this connection may face challenges from external poison, such as pressure from her surroundings, which may muddle her ideas. Many women admit they feel too exhausted, too busy, or too scared of failing to reconnect with their inner selves. A woman must learn to say no to shoulds and make space for her wants. Moreover, Hans Christian Andersen's tale, The Little Match Girl, illustrates the consequences of losing focus. The story is about a little orphan girl living in a dark forest. She would buy matches for half a penny and sell them for a full penny, using the profits to purchase bread. The arrival of winter makes it even more challenging to sell matches as people walk past her, oblivious to her existence. Seeking warmth, she starts lighting matches one by one. Each lit match transports her imagination to a warm house with a stove, a table laden with scrumptious food, or a beautiful Christmas tree illuminating her surroundings. Eventually, she sees a star blaze across the sky and remembers her mother's words that it symbolized a departing soul. Shortly after, her grandmother appears, bringing comfort to her. By morning, the girl is found dead. The little girl's story illustrates how dwelling in fantasies instead of taking action can lead to fatal consequences. The matches symbolize a gift that she did not utilize effectively to save her life. The same happens to gifted women with beautiful voices or talent in writing or acting. They are shy and bury their gifts deep inside instead of showcasing them to the world. The main character exerted effort to sell matches instead of seeking warmth. Similarly, women invest their time and energy in pursuits that are not worth it. The Crescent Moon Bear. Practice outweighs knowledge. Lastly, let's explore a Japanese tale that advocates patience and emphasizes that regulating emotions is a prolonged process. It underscores the fact that there are no quick fixes or magic solutions. The story begins with a woman eagerly awaiting her husband's return from war. However, upon his return, he exhibits a drastic change in behavior. He refuses to enter the house and opts to sleep on the stones outside, isolating himself in the forest. Despite his cold and aggressive demeanor, the wife remains resolved to reclaim her husband's love and affection. In search of advice, she visits a healer who asks her to bring him a hair from the crescent moon at the bear's throat. Unintimidated by the perilous task, the young wife ascends the mountain. As she climbs, she keeps repeating, "Arigato zaisho," which means, "Thank you for letting me climb upon your body." Eventually, she encounters the bear. However, the bear's ferocity requires her to wait for a few days before she can approach it. She leaves food for the animal, building trust before revealing her purpose. When the bear attacks, she calmly explains her mission and reminds the bear of the food she had left as an offering. Touched, the bear allows her to take a hair. However, upon her return to the healer, she is deeply disappointed. The man burns the hair and tells her she didn't need it. Instead, she should use the wisdom gained from her experience to heal her husband. No piece of advice is as effective as the experience gained through overcoming trials. The wife didn't fully understand the lesson immediately after her experience on the mountain. She needed to witness the hair being burnt to truly grasp the value of her adventure. The bear symbolizes rage. She had to establish an emotional connection with it before it eventually transformed from ferocity to kindness. The healer could have advised her from the beginning to be patient with her husband as the cure, but it would not have been as persuasive. Once the wife could melt the bear's heart, she was equipped to do the same with her husband. This story teaches us to recognize the value of primal rage and handle it appropriately. Attempting to suppress or deny it is futile, as it is an integral part of our wild nature. Instead of being fearful, we should accept anger as it points out the areas of pain that require attention. As civilization progressed and certain ethnic groups colonized others, cultural narratives about goddesses and the sacred secrets of female nature have been distorted to varying degrees. Influenced by religious beliefs, storytellers removed sexual, mystical, and unethical details from their tales. As a result, the legends that have been passed down to us are now sparse. However, they still house archetypes, recurring themes, and symbols inherited from our ancestors. The same elements exist in our psyche, the part that connects us with all living and dead people on the planet. Consequently, we often react to the stories we hear as if we see a part of our lives reflected in them. But in reality, it's more like we are hearing echoes of shared experiences from the collective unconscious. Long before psychotherapy, art, and science emerged, people shared stories. Elders in ancient tribes used legends to impart knowledge or warnings to their descendants. These tales were passed down from one generation to another, and when a mother retold the family legend to her daughter, the voices of all the women who once inhabited the earth and knew this story echoed in her words. Therefore, fairy tales connect modern women with the ancient, untamed female energy, providing them with the strength and inspiration to resist those seeking to tame them. Do this. Explore the works of the renowned psychiatrist Carl Jung on the unconscious and archetypes, for example, Symbols of Transformation, 1952. Reflect upon and analyze the fairy tales and legends your parents narrated to you during your childhood. You might be surprised to find new insights and valuable lessons in them. Engage in discussions with your older relatives about the rituals that the women in your family followed. Reflect upon the actions that your great-grandmothers drew strength and peace from.